This image on this screen represents all black women. Don't try to get away from it. Let's just joke about it.
Come on, Blazer.
It's a beat for me.
Wow, 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 wow. For your guy, for your B-O-Y. Drop it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Do it for your guy, for your B-O-Y. Come on, baby, we live.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Voodoo back with a quick little video, and I saw something interesting, right? I was going on Twitter because I was really trying to follow at one point this whole Mayweather Jocelyn thing, and I didn't realize that basically Chrisean Rock, Blueface, and Jocelyn performed. Now on the surface you're like, oh, that's cool, that's dope, you know what I'm saying? But when I saw the imagery that was put out there for the world to see in regards to black women, I could have vomited in my mouth. Now, I could take the road like normal people do when they feel like they're not a part of a group and say, you know what, that's them, that's not me. I'm not worried about it, I'm good. But ultimately, the imagery that is put up for public consumption typically is what people view you as, even though you are not that. So I have to take accountability as a black woman, even though I didn't participate. Well, I kind of did participate because I listened to music. But I will admit, me listening to the earlier girls kind of cultivated the environment for what we're dealing with now, and it's just sickening. So anyways, let's get right into what we're here for, because I ain't got time. So world-renowned boxer Floyd Money Mayweather, Money Team, whatever you want to call him, he had another bout. And to be honest, at this point, I feel like all sports are scripted, but that's in a whole nother video. Anyway, he has this fight. You know, everybody knows that he's arguably the best boxer of all time. You know what I mean? His record is flawless. No matter how you feel about his boxing, his record says something different. But nevertheless, Floyd Mayweather has a fight, and typically before the fight, they have entertainers like musicians that'll come out and do some type of concerts or whatever. So he decided that he wanted to invite the Zeus girls. Now, I'm not sure if Mayweather is kind of like dealing with them, like business wise, but whatever it is, he decided that he wants to have the girls out, you know, on the stage to do their thing, I guess. So the girls get out there, and I kid you not, y'all, I have never had so much secondhand embarrassment in my entire life. But before we get to the girls today, we got to take a little trip back down memory lane to see how did we get here? Because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, wait a minute, how did we get to this space? Because this is not like, you know, this is not okay where we are. And I had to be honest with myself and say, you know what? You got to go back to when it all started with female and hip hop and the things that contributed to it. And you got to be honest with yourself and say, hey, even though you don't participate today in the fuckery, you participated then. So let's get into the old clips and what's been going on back in the gap. So this is hip hop according to my memory, y'all. I wasn't born at the very, very beginning of all of this stuff, but this is to my memory. So we started out with MC Lyte. And MC Lyte, the reason I'm saying we started out with her because she was the most mainstream rapper at the time. It wasn't like these other girls, Roxanne Shante and all these other girls weren't doing their thing. They were, but it kind of like stayed up in New York. Me being all the way down there in New Orleans, what we knew as far as the first female rapper from my recollection would have been your MC Lyte. So boom, we started out with MC Lyte, and then comes Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah came in. Both of these girls, first of all, were really respectable women. I remember watching The Box, and if you old enough, you know. If you know, you know. And hearing Queen Latifah with that, who you calling a bitch? You and I. That's the background video playing right now. And I remember being like, yo, females is really like advancing in the rap game, because at the time rap was 99% men. All I knew where I was MC Lyte and Queen Latifah, and I kind of like related to Queen a little bit more because I felt like Queen was really on some positivity, like female first, you know. Here, look at this video, ladies first. It was kind of like a yeah we the girls, you know what I'm saying, but we're in this male dominated industry, but we can spit with the best of them and we could rhyme with the best of them while promoting women or black woman positivity. So I always liked Queen for that, and I always felt like Queen was just that girl, because Queen basically came out, you know, in an industry of dudes like, you're not about to play with me, okay? I liked it her. Now I ain't gonna lie, we gotta be real. So when I first heard about Lil' Kim, I thought Lil' Kim was like an alien, because hip hop at the time was literally like, you know, women, baggy clothes, you know what I mean, going against the dudes or whatever the case may be. But when Lil' Kim popped on the scene, y'all, I kid you not, that was the first thing that made me like, I want and love and need to have hip hop in the female sense in my life. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all know this, but you know, if y'all can hear it on my little reviews or whatever the case may be, when I do the reality show reviews, not the intro that I'm playing on this video, but on any of my reality show reviews, that's me rapping, because I wanted to rap. You feel me? I wanted to be like Lil' Kim. You couldn't tell me nothing about nobody. Listen, Lil' Kim changed the game. She was raunchy. She was sexy. She didn't have to wear the baggy clothes. She was the fashion girl. She was hanging out with the fashionistas, the Alexander Waynes and all the girls of the girls. Like, Lil' Kim not only was for the hood, but Lil' Kim was really outside with like the rich fashion white people. She was front row at doggone fashion shows. You couldn't tell me nothing about Lil' Kim. She was ahead of her time. If you could look at all the looks in these videos, Lil' Kim had the color wigs. Lil' Kim had the Barbie whole concept before the next person I'm gonna mention. Sorry, Barbs. I'm heard a lot of feelings in this, but it is what it is. Lil' Kim is the blueprint. Do you hear me? For where we are today. Unfortunately, we're not where we kind of like should be, because we're kind of like regressing instead of progressing. But here we are. Listen, Lil' Kim was that girl and still is, in my opinion. But then came Trina. Trina was Lil' Kim on steroids. Why do I say that? She was not as fashionable as Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim was the icon when it came to women in hip hop, or really hip hop at the time, because Lil' Kim was like doing a whole lot. But Trina's lyrics were raunchy. She came out talking about how a nigga eating her with her period on and doing this and that and third and sucking and all of this. Although Lil' Kim paved the way for sexy female hip hop, Trina paved the way for your city girls, for your Glorillas, and for all these other people that y'all see now. Not to mention your Krishan Rocks and your Jocelyn Hernandez's, girl. It was a lot. So then in comes Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj came in, blew the top off the whole thing, because Nicki Minaj not only was cute and sexy, she could spit bars with the dudes. Do you hear me? Nicki Minaj came out and really took the whole, like, because we're in this day of internet around this time. She took the internet by storm. She took the rap game by storm, not just on the female side, but she took it like to the next level, catapulted all the way to the top, the tippity top on the male side. Let me tell you something, dudes, she was killing dudes on their own songs. Do you hear me? I'm talking about all your faves. I'm talking about your Kanye West's. I mean, really just bodied him on his song. Eminem, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, all these dudes. Nicki literally had the female rap game in a chokehold by herself for at least 10 years. Now, it kind of was bittersweet to me, because it kind of went through, I kind of went through what the girls are going through today. So when Nicki came in, she had a huge beef with Lil' Kim, and she made the song Stupid Hoe. Like, she was just like dissing my girl. And I'm like, how could she do that? You literally, in my opinion, took her whole style, man, and you gonna pull up on the scene, even though your lyrics, ain't nobody messing with you. I'm gonna give you that. But you disrespecting the queen, Queen B, the first Barbie. Like, what are we doing here? But Nicki came out strong. Nicki came out strong and was like, I am the new girl. There is none other. All you bitches is my sons. That was her #1 mantra. And that's that. And literally pushed poor Lil' Kim to the side. I'm talking about early retire, my girl. I was hurt. I ain't gonna lie. I felt firsthand what the girls are feeling now and what has felt in the recent, past or whatever, because I was like, I get it. It's room for two girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't we just have the two girls? But Nicki was like, nah, I'm not sharing no stage. And Granny gotta go. That's what she called it. And it's so funny that she said that, because, history repeats itself, because they was calling her Granny on Twitter. Nevertheless, girl, Nicki came through and was just like, it is what it is. Like I said, rapping with the big dogs, having people like really like respect her in and out the game. Like, nobody wasn't playing with her. But the one thing Nicki did bring in was the plastic surgery, the BBL. If y'all could look at Nicki in this video, Nicki came out at the very, very beginning, like underground. She didn't have none of this. Nicki actually did a video where she was talking about how insecure she felt with all the women in the studio and how she wasn't getting attention and all of this. And most women go through this, so there's no judgment here. Nicki went and got the butt. You know what I'm saying? She got the BBL. She got the, you know, the body. Nicki was the first girl to take the fashion and the body to the next level. I mean, Nicki had the girls gagging. I know at one point when she first came out, it was real theatrical. She had the different color wigs, just like Lil' Kim. We got to give homage and pay homage. But, you know, she was coming out real like cartoonish. But once she really got out of that stage in her career, like Nicki just literally skyrocketed, like, and held the rap game by a chokehold, or by one hand, like a choke. Do you hear me? And I ain't gonna lie, I felt some type of way because I was like, dang, Nick, you could do some features with some girls that's coming up, you know what I mean? Because they had a lot of girls rapping, but Nicki didn't do no features. Nicki basically was like, you know what? I'm the girl, and that's just that. But Nicki did bring the BBL to the hip-hop game. She brought the BBL. Nicki was the first black girl to have the BBL and actually make it a thing to where dudes literally wanted her and women idolized her. It's funny because a lot of these girls talked about the things they went through, but they don't really, you know, go into detail about all of it. Cardi B was like a mixture of a Trina and, well, not really a mixture of anybody. She was more or less like a Trina, but she was like mainstream with it. I'm not saying Trina never went mainstream, but Cardi, the stuff she was saying in her songs, it was just insanity, like the things, and she's just like up with the dudes talking about the nastiest, raunchiest, dirtiest stuff she'll do. And at that time it was shock value. I was like, ain't no way she getting away with this, especially when they came up with WAP. I was like, there's no way, but she got away with it. And at the time I'm thinking, oh, it's light skin, pretty privilege, you know, whatever the case, because a dark skinned girl would never be able to get away with this. But oh, to my dismay, I was wrong. I'm not even gonna lie. But anyway, she ushered in Megan Thee Stallion, child. Megan Thee Stallion was another one, came in with the bars. She was more or less like a Nicki Minaj mixed with a Cardi, because she was real raunchy, but she wrote her own lyrics. She rapped her own stuff. Like, she was basically the whole package by herself. Megan is the other generation's, like, I'll say she's the next generation's, like, you know, Cardi or Lil' Kim or Trina or whatever the case may be. She came out with Big Old Freak, took the whole world by storm. And you know what I noticed? These girls are getting raunchier and raunchier as the time goes by, and it's becoming more and more popular. And it's just like, the girls are going away from actually just rapping and sticking and putting most of their time into the art. They're putting a lot of their time and energy and money into their appearance. Now, what I did like about Meg allegedly didn't have no work. It doesn't look like it, I'll tell you that. But she didn't have no work done. But she was just as raunchy and kinky as the other girls before her. But she just kind of took it to another level as far as star power and as everything else that's going on. I do like the fact that Meg works with a lot of people. Her collabs are amazing, but I don't like, you know, her by herself. I'm sorry. Ever since that first album, it's just giving a no for me. But nevertheless, now we got Meg up here dancing in her drawers. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, body positivity, I'm all here for it. But Meg ushered in a new set of girls as well. And this set of girls are going to be the girls that just take it not just to the next level. They just going to take it down to the ground. Do you hear me? Meg opened the door for these new girls to take whatever they got going on today down to the ground. I don't know if it was all of the twerking. I don't know what it was that made Meg take these girls to the hell, or to the pits of hell. I'm sorry, but she did. And this is the culture that we have today. Now, I'm not making, you know, Meg the bad guy, but I will say when the city girls jumped in on this, it went to ratchet. I ain't gonna lie. I like the city girls too. I like the city girls. But with Act Up, with it just gave two girls out the hood that made it, that got their bodies done, and they mainstream. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nothing wrong with girls out the hood. I'm from the hood too as well. But these girls brought it to the projects, if it makes sense. They brought it to the projects of hip hop, adding still the sexy stuff in there. Cardi working with them as well, as she always do. But taking this stuff with the BBLs and the lyrics and the raunchy and all of this to the hood and putting it on the world's display. I believe the city girls are the blueprint for the Chrisean Rocks and the Glorrillas of the world, because these girls not only had all the sexiness and all the raunchiness, but they had some sort of hint of ratchet to them. And everybody knows that. I know Young Miami today is not who she was in the past. I know Young Miami has evolved, her and JT, to be completely honest. Hell, even Cardi. They all have evolved in some way. They are not those girls that they once were. However, when they were those girls, it gave other girls the opportunity or the vision to feel like I can be just as raunchy, just as nasty, just as, whatever. Once WAP came out, there was nothing else to say. You know what I mean? Like, these girls were just like, it is what it is as far as getting on the mic. I can get on the mic and say the most nastiest things I want, and everything is going to go well. Well, that kind of started to backfire on us, y'all, because this culture that we have is insane and it's ridiculous. And it's basically putting the image out there, and myself included, entertaining in the fuckery. From the girls at the beginning all the way up until today, not realizing the image that we're painting for the world to see, not only inside of America, but outside of America as well. And I'm wondering to myself, are we being viewed this way in the everyday, day-to-day life? It wouldn't surprise me if we weren't, and I'm pretty sure if I can go out on a limb and say we are, because this breeds the new Sukihanas of the world. Now, I did a video on Sukihana being assaulted that she didn't deserve, because at the end of the day, these girls could be as raunchy and as nasty as they want, but they still don't deserve to be assaulted. However, Sukihana came out with an image that she's all about any and everything, meaning eating ass, meaning like she's done raunchy videos on OnlyFans, she's done actual porn on OnlyFans, and also on Twitter. She's done a lot of fetish videos, and it kind of gave the unsolicited opinion of black men that they can basically touch and do anything to this girl. And to be honest, if I have to be 100% fair, that's accountability that black women have to take on their own, because it's one thing to be sexually free and be liberated in your sexuality, but at the end of the day, we have to think about the impact that it has on other people, right? Whether negative or positive. This is why you got your Glorrillas. She's basically a combination of all the girls that we spoke about, but Glorilla is not as like BBL'd up. She don't have the BBL. She's a slender girl. She says she loves her body. However, Glorilla is the girl that kind of like brought the hood project, ratchet, Section 8, I'm not even gonna lie, Section 8 food stamp girls to the forefront, right? And that itself fostered the environment that we're looking at on your Zeus networks. Listen, this is what created Zeus Network. This right here. I'm not hating on Glorilla. I think it's good that she has her success. I hope that she goes far. I hope that she continues her success, and her friends, her ratchet ass friends, in her words, can do really well in this industry. However, what we have to understand is the images that we're putting out for the world's consumption, for public consumption, is what people are going to view us as. And it's one thing to have this in the corners and the pits of social media, or maybe on YouTube where they got maybe 1 or 2 million views and everybody ain't watching or whatever, but it's a whole other thing when you put this type of stuff on the big stage, and now everybody has a look on us, because this is what we're promoting the life of black women is like, right? With these images, with these type of girls, we're promoting to the world that this is what all black girls are doing, and this is what most of them look like, and this is the life they're living, basically. I mean, doing stupid stuff like drinking with the babies in the room, and the Sukihanas dancing on the 10-year-olds and all of this other stuff. This is what we're making the world think that we are, and we are not. I know black people are not a monolith, but in some instances we are. I'm not saying me personally or anybody else, but that's just what it is. So now we fast forward, and this is the performance from Money Mayweather and what he wanted to do with this doggone pre-show, and I was literally sick to my stomach. First of all, we have a very pregnant Chrisean Rock on stage, and I don't know who dressed her. Chrisean, fire that damn stylist, please. But you on stage with a girl twerking all over you with your abuser, even though you are an abuser as well. Let's call a spade a spade. But all of this stuff you took social media through, not me, because I've been gave up on you, giving up on this man. But you got Blueface out there talking about how you supposed to smack your bitch and not no man, or whatever the case. And that's just real giving like down low vibes. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But not only do you have Blueface as the representation for black men, you decide to bring out the girls from Baddies West. And I thought that just made this all the more worse. Listen to me, y'all. When she brought those girls out on that stage, Natalie Nunn, I don't know the rest of all of these girls' names because I don't follow them like that. It really gave the idea to the main public that this is black women. These are the top creme de la creme of black women. If you want to know who black women are and what they're doing, this right here is that image. It looks like a Soul Train line of strippers. Do you hear me? BBLs and strippers. I hate it for us. I hate it for this pregnant woman to be up there with this baby in her belly, bouncing around like a damn idiot. And what's worse is whether I like it or not, this is what it is. And as someone who has participated in the earlier culture, I can do nothing but blame myself. But I can also really be upset and speak out about it because I don't want this to be our image. I really don't, because it's just giving BBLs and strippers. That's what it's giving. That black women only want to be in toxic relationships, abusive relationships, get BBLs, drink, go out to the club, smoke, and do nothing with our lives but just exist and wait for black men to impregnate us and leave us. That's the culture it's giving, y'all. I'm sorry. I hate this for us. I just really wish that we had picked another image for ourselves than the one that we're looking at right here. And then when I thought it couldn't get any worse, we got Jocelyn Hernandez, the Puerto Rican princess, gyrating all over the floor, presenting as a black woman, because I know she's Hispanic, but that is a culture, not a race, but gyrating on the floor and humping the floor. I have never felt so much secondhand embarrassment. Look at the people behind her. This is neglect on black women. We came from so much better than this, and I am really appalled that this is where we are today in society. It's insanity to me, because even with the nasty, raunchy stuff we're doing on stage, we can't even be out in public together. Look at what we doing. We fighting and carrying on, and it's just disgusting. I just don't know what we're gonna do. I get it. This is that culture that we came up in with love and hip hop. I wish it never existed. I was all into it. This is another culture I participated in, reality TV, where we all watched and cheered on black women just basically being abusive to each other. And now that we have the image that we have, is it safe to say that we can't blame anybody but ourselves? I'll be the first to say absolutely. We have achieved a lot of things. We've made a lot of leaps and bounds, but we chose to be entertained. And this entertainment is costing us our image. Basically, the image that's put out to the world is not the one that you see on my screen. The image that is put out to the world is the ones that you saw earlier. And it's crazy how evolution happens, and you think something starts off fun, it's sweet, it's cool, it's positive, it's uplifting. Then you realize when it's too late that the stuff you were entertained by is literally causing you your image. Some might feel like imagery is not all that, but honestly, it basically greets the people that we meet and the people that sees us before we can even open our mouths. You ever heard the black trope, the black woman stereotype that she's aggressive, or she's negative, or she's always upset, angry black woman? It's the same thing in these situations with the issues and the images that we're putting out here to the world, that we are all ratchet and we don't want anything out in life, when we all know that's furthest from the truth. But the images that we promote is used to judge us on a daily basis. And it sucks because not only is our generation to blame for the pushing of this or for the promoting of this, we look at our mothers that are supposed to be mothers, and not all of us, but a lot of us have mothers like what we have with Tokyo Toni, that are unhinged, that are ridiculous. And it's just like, if I was outside of the community, I would think all of us are like this generation to generation. I'm just being 100% honest. I don't see any difference from a Tokyo Toni to a Blac Chyna. She's just as bad as her daughter, even though she tries to drag her daughter for being bad. I just wish that I can go back into a time machine and literally delete and erase all of the things I participated in for the sake of entertainment. Entertainment is going to get us in a lot of trouble, y'all. It's already gotten us there, to the point so busy being entertained, our children are in the streets literally deleting each other and being arrested and being taken away from us at an early age. I lost my nephew at 19 here a few months ago, and it was a hard pill for me to swallow, because his father, we lost him, which is my brother, a while back. But I had to sit back and ask myself, was being entertained worth the outcome that we have today? Because right now what we do know is we're losing our children. Our children are confused more now than ever. our community is in a disarray. And no matter if anybody wants to admit it or not, our community has always been a matriarchy and not a patriarchy. So when the women aren't doing well, the entire community fails. You guys drop down in the comments. I'm curious to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this situation. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm tripping? Is it far-fetched, or do you think it's okay? Whatever it is, I look forward to hearing from you. See you later.
Mr. Carroll, how you give the voodoo doll time to talk? I don't get no fucking time to talk.
Who the voodoo doll is?
The nigga you just had up here.